Yo, what up guys, this is your boy Legendary here. Today people, I am hyped up because we are going to be doing, obviously, Crow Hogan's deck. We've never done it on the channel before, so this is brand new content 100%, not just an update. This is a brand new deck we haven't used before, or rather that we haven't shown off before. We've had his deck for years, but we haven't actually done a deck profile on it yet. But we're doing it today, and he got some new support that he got a while back, so I'm going to go through the deck first. And then at the very end, I'll talk about the new cards, what they do, and how they help the deck. I mean, the deck didn't need too much help, but it actually did. Because even though Blackwings are strong, Crow's deck is not very strong because he runs a lot of the Blackwing monsters that most people don't play, the really bad ones. So his deck isn't always amazing, but this new support does help out quite a bit. So we'll get into that. But we're going to get started. Alright, so we're going to start off with the monsters first. I'm going to start off with the non-tuner monsters. So for the non-tuner monsters, we have one of the new support cards, Blackwing Simoon, the Poisoned Wind. One of the new cards, we'll talk about that at the end. It basically just searches Black Whirlwind, but that's the main effect that you need to worry about. But we'll talk more about it later, but that's basically what it does. We have Blackwing Elphin the Raven, and Blackwing Sirocco the Dawn. We got Blackwing Bora the Spear. We have Shura the Blue Flame. We have Zephyros the Elite. We have Blackwing Calima the Haze. We have Ghibli the Searing Wind. Kalut, Fane the Steel Chain. Gust the Backlash. And Jetstream of the Blue Sky. So those are all the main deck Blackwing monsters that aren't tuners. We're going to get into the tuners now. For the tuners, we're going to start from the highest level and work our way down. We got Blackwing Auster, the South Wind, I believe. Yeah, the South Wind. This is one of the new support cards. We'll talk about this at the end, but it's a very good card that helps out with Blackwing Dragon. It's a very good card. We'll get into that though. We got Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. You guys already know him. We got Steam the Cloak. You guys should know him as well. We got Blizzard. Come on. Classic Blackwing engine right there. We got Mistral the Shield. We got Orochi the Squall, another classic. We got Hurricane the Tornado, and we got Vayu. So you already know Vayu. But yeah, those are all the tuners right there. We're going to hop into the spell cards. For the spell cards, we have Black Whirlwind. Obviously, we got cards of Black Feather. Use the anime effect. I believe its anime effect is you discard a Blackwing to draw 2 cards. It'll be on the side of the screen. It's either discard a Blackwing to draw 2 or you banish a Blackwing to draw 2. And there's no restriction either that hinders you from summoning stuff. So it is what it is. But yeah, use the anime effect of that against your friends. Then we got Raptor Wing Strike, we got Against the Wind, we got Blackwing Strife, we have one of the new support cards, Glowing Crossbow, we'll read that at the end. We got 2 anime spell cards, we got Rendering Tuning. It basically target 1 tuner monster in your hand and special summon it, so it summons a tuner from your hand, which is cool. Of any level, it doesn't really matter, so that's good. No level restrictions, so that can help out. Not that it matters because all of ours are level 4 and lower, and most of them special summon themselves. But for the higher ones, higher level tuners that are awkward to summon, you could use it for that as well. But it just helps you swarm the field more in case if they don't just do it already. And then we got Level Wing, which basically increases the level of one monster you control by 3, which could help out really well with level manipulation. But yeah, that's basically the spell cards. For the trap cards, we have Urgent Tuning, we have Trap Stun, we have Chaos Life, an anime card. Activate only when a player's life points would become 0 by a card effect. The player gains life points equal to the amount of damage they would have taken instead. So that's situational, you can take that out. It depends if you're facing a duelist that obviously has burn cards. You can tech that in, that would be really handy. But you can tech that out if you're not facing any burn, you know. But yeah, we got Black Back, we got Black Boost. Use the anime effect of this card. It'll probably be on the side of the screen. Its anime effect is if you control 2 or more Blackwing tuner monsters, you can draw 2 cards. I believe that's the effect. Then we got Black Thunder, we got Blackwing Strife, we got Delta Crow Anti-Reverse, we got Black Return, we got Blackwing Bombardment, we have Black Sonic Super Broken. This is the mirror force of the deck, but instead of destroying all attack position, it banishes all of them, which is freaking busted. And I think it's also a hand trap, so you can activate it from your hand. Extremely busted. And we finally have the new support counter trap card, Black Bird Close. This card is extremely good. I can't wait to get into that. But we're going to get into the extra deck right now. Alright, for the extra deck, we got Blackwing Dragon, his ace, you already know. We got Armor Master. We have the new Blackwing Synchro Monster, Blackwing Full Armor Master, the evolution of Armor Master. It's really cool that he got an evolution. That was such a hype moment when I found that out. It's pretty awesome. And then we got Blackwing Silver, the Ascendant. And then we got Blackwing Silverwind, the Ascendant, and we also have Blackwing Armed Wing. And that's the synchros. He doesn't have very many, but there you go. He got one new one that's actually very powerful, and we'll read that after we're done with the side deck. We have an extra copy of Bora the Spear. We have Bristol the Tailwind. We have Aurora of the Northern Lights, Kochi the Daybreak, and Kogarashi the Wanderer right there. So those are the side deck cards. I mean, you're probably never going to really tech into these cards. Maybe one or two of them you will, but for the most part, the main deck is pretty solid. We got Reload, we got Blackwing Backlash, we got Fake Feather, Mirror Force. You can main deck that. I didn't add it because I wanted to use more Blackwing focused main cards, but you could replace Chaos Life for this card, obviously. If you want to run just a really busted version of this deck, then just use Mirror Force. I didn't add it just because it didn't feel very Crow to me, even though he did use it. He only used it one time. Doesn't feel like a Crow thing for me, but it's fine. I wanted to use the Blackwing cards. That's the real main reason why. But you can definitely add it. Definitely add it because it's a strong card, obviously. We got Defender's Intercept. We got Ebon Arrow. We have Shadow Impulse. We have Level Returner. An anime card called Shadow Dance. Activate only when a player takes battle damage from the direct attack. Inflict 1,000 to your opponent. You can attack directly and deal 1,000, or if you get attacked directly, you can deal 1,000. Either way, whoever takes direct damage will take that. Your opponent will take 1,000 anyway, so it doesn't matter. We have the Counter Trap, Gravity Collapse as well. You could probably main deck this one too if you want. Just find room for it. And I believe that's it. That is the side deck right there. So we're gonna talk about the new cards now, how they help out the deck, what they do, and all that stuff. So let's just hop into that. Alright, so we're going to talk about the new cards right now. We're going to start off, I guess, with Blackwing Simoon, the Poison Wind. Its effect is basically, if you control no monsters and have this card in your hand, you can banish one other Blackwing monster from your hand, place one Black Whirlwind directly from your deck face up in your spawn trap card zone. Then either send this card to the graveyard, or immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one monster without tributing. You can now special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for dark monsters, which doesn't matter because it's Blackwings. You can only use this effect of Blackwing Simoon, the Poison Wind, once per turn. During the end phase, send all Black Whirlwinds placed by this effect to the graveyard, and if you do, you take 1,000. So it does have a cost, 1,000 burn cost, but it's so good because it helps you search out Black Whirlwind. And what's cool about this card is that it activates in your hand. It doesn't say reveal it, but you activate this card in your hand. If you control no monsters, you basically place Black Whirlwind first and then normal summon him without tributing, and then you can activate Black Whirlwind to search a Blackwing monster, obviously with less attack than Simoon, and right there. So he sets up your Black Whirlwind, so he's really good just for that reason, and he summons himself without tributing, so he's very good. It comes with a 1,000-point burn, so keep that in mind. Be very careful when you use it, but early game it's really good, obviously, and there you go. But that's what this card does. It's very good. Next up, we are going to be talking about the Tuner monster right here. This card is also pretty cool. It's very interesting. Its effect reads, cannot be special summoned. While this card is normal summoned, you can target one of your banished level 4 lower Blackwing monsters, special summon it in defense, which is good. It special summons the banished Blackwing monster, level 4 lower. That's awesome. And then its other effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard to activate one of the following effects. Place Black Feather counters on one Blackwing dragon you control equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. That's very good, and I'll explain why. And then its other effect is place one wedge counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls, and that does not have one. So it has two really handy effects that work with the Ace, Black Feather Dragon, and also works with Armor Master, and also works with Full Armor Master, the new one, which we'll get into in a second. But basically, you could give as many Black Feather counters on this card as you want, which is good because its effect is really bad, because it basically just negates burn damage by decreasing his attack by 700 and gaining a Black Feather counter. And then you can remove all the counters from this card to target a monster your opponent controls, and it loses 700 attack points for each Black Feather counter. So with this card, you don't have to worry about trying to trigger that. You just banish this card, and for every monster your opponent controls, it gains gains a Black Feather counter, which is great. And then you remove all the Black Feather counters, choose a monster your opponent controls, and it loses 700 attack for each. So it literally helps you actually make him useful, because in most duels, he's honestly useless because he doesn't really do anything unless you're facing a burn deck or you're burning yourself. So most of the time he doesn't do anything on the field, which sucks. But now this card makes it so whenever you want, you can basically just activate his effect by placing as many counters as you need, depending on how many your monsters your opponent has. And on top of that, this card also does burn damage for the attack points that it decreased of your opponent's monster. So it can burn your opponent out, and then you can attack the monster that you just weakened. So very good card for that. And then obviously this also places Black Feather counters. And obviously this also places wedge counters, which is good with Armor Master, because he can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters to reduce the attack and defense of each monster that had a wedge counter to 0. So that's really good, because the bad part about Blackwing Armor Master is that he has to attack first and then place a wedge counter, and then during main phase 2 he can remove the wedge counters on the field to drop their attack and defense to 0, but at that point it's useless because you've already declared an attack. So they fixed that error by just banishing this card and place a wedge counter on all the monsters, and then you can activate this effect to make them all 0 and then just attack. So they completely fixed the error of both of these cards, because that was the main weaknesses of both of these cards. This was way too slow, and this literally didn't do anything unless you were facing a burn deck. So that's how this one card fixes both of his 2 ace monsters. And then on top of that, it works well with the new card, which is Blackwing Full Armor Master. This just requires 1 Blackwing tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters, so it's pretty generic for Blackwings. You don't need anything crazy. It is unaffected by other card effects, already a strong effect, but keep in mind it's also unaffected by your own card effects, so that way you can't protect it. You can't activate Kalut to power this up because it's unaffected by even your own card effects. So that's the one downside. But other than that, it's completely protected from your opponent's stuff. And if you try to Dark Hole, this won't be destroyed because it's unaffected by your card. So in some ways it's really good, but it can also be really bad. Once per turn, you can target one face of monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter, take control of it. Once per turn during your end phase, destroy all monsters on the field that had a wedge counter. So it can change of heart a monster that has a wedge counter, which is good because you just placed one on every monster, so you can basically pick whoever you want and steal it. And then during the end phase, it destroys all monsters on the field with wedge counters. So very strong effect, unaffected, can pop everything, and can take control of a monster. So very good, very great Blackwing Synchro monster. A good evolution for Armor Master. And without this card, these cards wouldn't be nearly as good. I mean, this card would still be amazing by itself, but it makes it so much better with this because it places a wedge counter on everything. And then the final card, the final 2 cards, we got the Trap and the Spell. We'll talk about the Spell. The Spell card was okay. It didn't do anything too crazy to help, but it's still pretty neat. Equip only to a Blackwing monster, it gains 500 attack and defense. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand. Pretty good. It could help, mill some stuff, but it's still not that amazing, honestly, and you gotta destroy a monster by battle first, so it's kind of like not that great. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was using Synchro Shield, you can add this card from your grave to your hand, so it recycles itself. Like I said, this card is okay. It's not amazing by any means. It gives a small power boost, has some okay-ish effects, to be honest. So this card wasn't that great. It's a cool artwork, I do like it, but it's not that amazing. Now we got the Counter Trap. Counter Traps are usually good. It's Counter Trap Blackbird Close. Its effect is, when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, you can send 1 face of Blackwing monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then you can special summon 1 Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck. If you control a Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon, you can activate this card from your hand. So it's super good. It basically negates any monster effect on the field, and you could just pop out your ace monster Blackwing Dragon on the field for no reason. So simple, so good. And then on top of that, it could be a hand trap if you control a Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon on the field. You could just use it from your hand during your own turn. So very strong card. I think even during your opponent's turn too, but very good. So honestly, these 4 cards right here are amazing, and the 5th one not so good, honestly, unfortunately. But these 4 cards are really amazing. They help fix the deck a lot. This card alone helps literally all the horrible synchros kind of make it better. I mean, Blackwing Armor Master wasn't horrible, but it was too slow with its other effect. Now it's really good because it could just drop everything to 0 whenever it wants because of this one card. So try to get this card in the graveyard as fast as possible because you're going to need that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the deck right there for you guys. It's very simple. It's Blackwings, it special summons a lot, and these new cards really help kind of speed up the deck even faster while also allowing you to actually go off with the ace monster and place wedge counters and black feather counters and do a bunch of crazy stuff, and this negates and summons your ace. Like, these cards help out a lot. If you guys want to know all the cards that were in this deck, the deck will be in the link in the description below. It will also be in the link in the description below so you can download it and add it into Dueling Book and try it out yourself. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you guys for watching. God bless you guys. See you guys in the next video. Gotcha!